What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another awesome adventure. Today we aren't in Ohio anymore. I made the long trek down to Florida just for the sole purpose of doing some pond hopping. Now I have a full day to hit as many ponds as possible, so that's what I'm going to do. But this kind of mission is like finding a needle in a haystack, because there's thousands of ponds around here, but not all of them hold big fish. That's what I'm going after. And not all of them are publicly accessible. So we're at the first pond and I'm going to give it a shot, just do some junk fishing, hopefully catch some giants, not get bit by any snakes or alligators. I appreciate you guys watching. So all I'm really doing is just banging the banks and just casting 3 specific baits out. The first of which is this citizen shad right here. I've been trying for 2 years to get these things. They're really hard to get after, man. You have to, they do swim bait drops, and you have to have that in your cart and ready to purchase at the moment that they go live, or you'll just miss out on these. So I missed out on them a whole bunch of times, so finally I was able to get one. Really stoked to try this out, especially for big bass down here in Florida. The other baits I'm going to use is tried and true chatterbait. This is a custom chatterbait that I made with the custom trailer that I made as well. I've already caught some fish on it back in Ohio. I want to see how it works over here in Florida. And last but not least, speed worm. These Florida bass love freaking speed worms. I got so many different worms, because the cool story about that is my uncle, who lives down here in Florida, he bought a house and somebody left behind a whole bunch of equipment, a whole bunch of fishing and hunting stuff. He gave it to me, and he actually gave me 2 of these rods. So I might as well go over the gear while I'm at it. This is some off-brand Tsunami awesome power. This is a 7.6 medium heavy, and I ended up buying this reel at Walmart yesterday just to fit this specific rod. I thought he had 2 bait casters, but he didn't. And then here's the rod. This is actually a pretty cool setup. It came with a Corrado on it, one of the OG Shimano Corrados. It was all jacked up, so I just brought my loose speed spool. I got 2 of these reels. This is the SS1HA. It's a 7:5 to 1 gear ratio, and this is a Shimano Carbo Max. This is a graphite rod and 7 foot, and it's a medium fast. And last but not least, the Walmart special. I got a Berkeley lightning rod shock. Never heard of it. It looks cool. It feels like a freaking broomstick. But this is a medium heavy fast rod, and that's what I'm going to be throwing the big swim baits on. Oh shoot, dang it, I freaking had one. God, see, bit the freaking tail off. So here's the setup. This is a 1/16 ounce bullet weight. Got a weight stopper right here. This is a 3/0 VMC wide gap hook, and I don't know what the heck kind of worm this is. They're just in a plastic bag with all the other baits that I got from the person who left these at my uncle's house. I'll show you some of those baits here in a second. Here's a whole bunch of the baits that guy left at my uncle's house. I mean, it's every kind of worm you could imagine, but a lot of them are big worms, like this one. And a lot of them, most of which are colored darker colors, or June bug. I heard June bug is one of the best colors out here. Got some lizards. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm just trying to look for the one that I want. Let's go for a bigger worm. There we go. Renegade 6-inch twirl tail worms. That's what I was using. Some of this stuff is like ancient, but it's in good shape. I mean, that bait looks pretty cool. It's got blue highlights, blue and purple highlights. I like it. I like it a lot more if I caught a fish on it. Got him. Oh, he feels nice too. Oh boy, come on, come on. Get over here. Yes! First Florida bass. Hell yeah. I thought he was much nicer than that. Check that dude out. I thought he was much nicer than that, but we got the skunk out of the boat, boys. Cool. Got him. This one's a little bigger. They love the freaking speed worm, boys. See you later, buddy. All right, guys, I just took off the frog. I wasn't really getting any top water action, but I did notice a lot of vegetation and a lot of smaller bluegill around that vegetation, especially near the bank. So I'm going to throw on this really cool looking shock blade made by Picasso. Look at that thing, the detail in it. The blade is painted blue. I'm going to throw a watermelon colored fluke made by Zoom on the back of it. Flukes make outstanding trailers for chatterbaits. So I'm going to try and cover some more water before we move to the next spot. Oh, got him. First cast. That's the biggest fish of the day. Come on, stay on. Get in here, boy. Yeah, that's what I'm freaking talking about. First cast. Holy smokes, he smashed it. Yes. Look at that freaking, that's not a bad looking bass at all, boys. Shoot, yeah. Well, you guys know how I told you those Picasso shock blades are awesome. First freaking cast. That's probably a 17-incher. Heck yeah, man. Beautiful Florida bass on the Picasso shock blade. Now what I'm doing with this bladed jig is reeling it pretty erratically, like a 3/4 of crank turn. I'll reel it steady, stop it, crank it again. It's darting back and forth. And that's what I love about these bladed jigs. You could cast them out there and just crank them, but I guarantee your hookup ratio will increase if you make that action incredibly erratic. It's something that the fish can't resist if it's right in front of them. It triggers, I feel like it triggers an internal response, like the fight or flight type thing that humans deal with, and they just smash it. Plus the action of that thing is outstanding. Look at the action of this thing. It thumps too, man. A lot of people think you need special trailers for these bladed jigs, but you don't, man. A fluke is plenty sufficient. I think a lot of the bait companies just found a niche in the market and kind of tried to capitalize on it by making trailers specifically for this, but you don't need razor shads. I was a huge fan of razor shads for years, but you don't really need them, dude. Just Zoom flukes will work plenty fine. After going around this pond another time, throwing that Picasso shock blade, I didn't catch a single thing, man. I was really hoping for one more bass just so I could kind of establish a pattern. Maybe it was a fluke that I caught that on the first cast as soon as I tied it on. Nevertheless, it was the biggest bass so far, but we're not done yet, man. We still got a lot of other ponds to check out. I used Google Earth and just kind of pinned a couple spots I thought would look good, but we don't know until we get some boots on the ground, especially since a lot of them are private property. So we'll hop back in the car and try to figure something out for the rest of this afternoon, and especially during the evening time, really hoping I get a giant. Got him! Got him! Oh, that's the biggest fish of the day, for sure.